Yo, thank you so much for tuning into the Content is Profit show. Guys, today we had some technical difficulties and the stream was a little bit all over the place. So we're going to try to reconstruct it the best possible way. But please understand we're going to bring today's guest for a second time. And actually, on the second part of the show, he shares some really good golden nuggets. So that's what we're trying to salvage here. We're going to put it together for you guys. But please understand there were plenty of technical difficulties. We're working on them. We got some new computers, some new equipment, and it's not paying out. So we're going to fix them for you guys. But in the meantime, enjoy.
Hey, I'm Luis.
And I'm Luis.
How you're listening to the Content is Profit podcast,
where we talk about entrepreneurship, mindset, and of course, how to turn your content into profit, baby.
Let's go. Go to contentisprofit.com to get started today and join the community. Oh, yeah, baby. FONZI, welcome back.
Thank you. I made it, guys. I made it from the cold mountains of Utah.
Let's go.
Let me tell you, that was a surprise. It was freezing.
I know. You forgot your jacket.
Yes, I left my jacket here in Jacksonville in the car halfway through the plane. I was like, oh no, what did I just do? And turns out the day we got there literally was like the first snow of their winter. I was like, cool. What a coincidence.
Good job. Well, I'm happy that you're back. I hope your podcasting abilities are still there because I crushed in my solo episode. I'm just gonna point that out.
It was pretty good. Let me tell you, I listened to it. I actually tuned out in the car when we were driving down to Zion National Park, and I was like,
"Did you learn something?
Look at that!" I fell asleep for like 5 minutes, and then I woke up again. And
All right.
No, I'm kidding. It was good. I liked it. Podcasting real estate. Go check it out. Great episode.
All right, sweet. What are we talking about today, Fonzie? Tell me.
Good question. Today we're talking all about lessons from a first generation entrepreneur and of 1 year of publishing.
Ooh.
Not an easy feat,
Not an easy feat. And we'll all tell you a little bit about why it's not so easy. But do we have a sponsor today, Fonzie?
Indeed we do. And thank you for asking, good sir. Today's sponsor is your own, the BIZBROS. Yes, we sponsor this podcast thanks to Content Momentum. If you're looking to multi-purpose your podcast or video content and turn it into profit, ka-ching, make sure you slide in the DMs at BIZBROS Co. on Facebook, on Instagram.
That's right. Go ahead and follow the show, guys, because every week we're dropping these incredible pieces of content with guests that are doing it right now and having incredible success in their businesses. So you guys can go ahead and model and have also incredible success in your life and business. So go ahead and follow the show in your favorite platform.
That is right. And if today's guests help you move one step forward towards your goal, please don't forget to share this episode and leave a 5-star review. And before you get started, I actually want to invite you to join our community. Content is Profit. Just search for that. Content is Profit on Facebook and join because we want to help you out. Take it to the next level. Let's
go. We are back in the studio, baby. We know you missed us. You know, we miss you too. And today we have a special friend here with us. You could say he's one of our cool friends.
Ooh, that is right. Today's guest is someone that helps others create profitable YouTube videos that feed right into your funnel. Smooth, baby. So if you have been asking yourself whether or not you should go into YouTube, today's conversation might be for you.
Not only that, but today's guest is also the host of My Cool Friends. He's a best-selling author and proud first-generation entrepreneur. He's also responsible for one of the most innovative. Where's my English today? And fun ways of creating content online. More on that later.
Oh yeah! Please welcome YouTube Yoda and your cool friend Ben Ebig. Let's go, Ben. I love the energy.
Greetings, Internet. Hello, Facebook. Hello, all the wonderful people joining us on the live. And to those of you on the replay, hello. Grab a cup of coffee. Grab a sandwich. You have extra time for us on the interview night because you have mastered the ability of time travel.
Yes, let's go.
I love this.
By the way, I think you're the first person ever in like 215 episodes that says hi to the people showing up on the replays. So thank you, man. I'm just going to put that out there. That's incredible.
We can tell you got experience. We can tell you got experience on how you're running the show right now, man. And I mean, we're going to dive into that, some of the really, really cool stuff that you do.
Yeah.
But before we get there, please, can you share a little bit of who is Ben, right? And how did you get where you are today?
Who is Ben? Man, does Ben even understand who Ben is? So for those of you meeting me for the first time, hello. I'd love to be your friend. My name is Ben Ebig. As our lovely host said, I am a first-generation entrepreneur. My background is very much in video and production from a film standpoint. I started off in saying like, hey, like I'd love to work on movies. I'd like love to be like the production man for like the background guy for all of these like great Hollywood studios. And then at some point I said to myself, like, you know, I still love editing, but you know, the money just is not there, and and like as we say, the value is not there. And so I started saying like, well, you know, how can I like both do what I love and also bring more value to myself. And that's when like slowly I saw like this internet game like really start taking traction.
Yeah.
This was pre ClickFunnels when this story is taking place.
Yeah.
We did not have like you lucky dogs who have like funnels made. Funnels made for you.
Ben, I just want to add here for context a little bit that we mentioned ClickFunnels because that's through the community that we met, right? We met through the community of ClickFunnels, which for those that don't know is a great software company that can help you build your funnels. And it started around 2014, if I'm not mistaken. But I just wanted to add a little bit of context for maybe those that are not familiar with ClickFunnels.
Yeah, so I started like my internet journey like back in 2012, 2013ish, and I said like, you know, I'm gonna start a video game blog and I'm gonna start creating my own shows and all that. And that's where this like really started. Like, you know, like I don't know where this is gonna go, but I'm gonna start like doing this like on my own, like no matter where it takes me.
Yeah.
And there's like a very proud sense of doing that. And you know, slowly but surely that's how this like that was the first seed of how all this got started. And then I like started seeking out more and more mentors and then saying like, oh hey, you don't need like a fancy piece of paper in order to put together a proper offer in order to like build a online business. And sure enough, now that's how I've met you, all of you wonderful people on Content is Profit. And now I'm here, and now you guys ask me like, who is Ben? And I think like when I think of that, I think of Ben like I want to be the person who is like that, not just a first generation entrepreneur, but is the example of like, you don't need some sort of certification. You are the expert to someone else. Everyone, like there is someone out there who is seeking your wisdom.
I love that. Ben, I have a question since the moment we introduced you, or since the moment that you sent us the information. By the way, love the Pikachu. We have many of those in the house. Yeah, they're all over there. But anyways, why, like you seem very proud to be a first generation entrepreneur. I'm very curious, like why you're so proud of that. We feel the same way, by the way. So like, and I love that you put that out there, right? Because like we also come from a family that they were not entrepreneurs, right? Like our parents, both their jobs, their things, and our mom is in education. So, and this was not natural in our environment. So we've had to grow a lot, battle a lot, a lot of preconceived notions around the thing, and we basically started from zero, right? So I'm very curious, like why are you so proud of this? Like why do you decide to take this journey?
Yo, what is up? If you're listening to this, This is because here's where the technical difficulties happen. So we are putting an ad, a commercial break in between. If you produce a long form piece of content and you need a team, a fractional content team that comes into your business and help you leverage your effort and the time that you're putting into this content, and you want them to maximize that content and help you multi-purpose it so you can be everywhere at every single time in front of the people that you're serving, we're here to help you out. Make sure you go to contentisprofit.com, get your minimal viable content cheat sheet, right? Whew, that was a tongue twister right there. Make sure you get that. And at the same time, don't forget to slide in the DMs at BIZBROS on Facebook, on Instagram. We're ready to help you out. Let's keep this party going.
I've just simply hijacked the Content is Profit show, and they're back!
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can indeed hear you.
I was in the background right now for a few minutes. I was just listening to you, man. You were doing such a good job. I appreciate you. We appreciate you so much for taking over. You know, I think that is an incredible sign of how awesome of a guest you are, man. You saw these technical difficulties and you went on, took over, and just went with it. So I just wanted to say thank you so much.
Absolutely. I hijacked your Facebook and did a live.
I love it, man. I love it. Just so you know, this is the very first time this many technical problems have come up. Like this was insane on this side. You couldn't see it, but the browser was like, "Oh, we decided not to recognize your camera or mic at all." So we had to plug my computer. That's why we're using this camera over here. But Ben, I'm just gonna put this out there, and for the audience, we're gonna bring Ben a second time, right? That's gonna be the actual official release, just because this one was so accidental, right? So let's just keep rambling. Let's keep talking about content for the rest of the hour, since we got you here till 5 p.m. today. And, you know, let's dive deep. Let's dive deep into, you know, maybe frameworks, beliefs, things that you've done with YouTube, your clients. How can we help people with their content and take it to the next level? We'll rescue whatever can be rescued from this stream today, and we multi-purpose it. We'll do the Content is Profit way, the content momentum way with it. We'll turn it into lots of assets so you can have them, Ben, as well. You can share them with everybody, and then we'll bring you a second time and we'll do the official Content is Profit episode.
By the way, great hook, because I was so invested in your story until the thing froze, and I'm like, why is he doing that long pause? Like, this is great, this is incredible. And it was like this like pivotal moment of your story, so I loved it. So wait, don't answer that right now. That's gonna be answered in the real show.
So Ben, I know you were talking right now about Squid Games. We haven't seen it. We have not seen it. But can you please?
Well, that's your homework for today, then, until our next episode, is to go watch Squid Game. I've watched it twice now.
Really?
Not happening.
I want to watch it, but my girlfriend is like, "Oh my gosh, it looks scary. I don't know if I want to watch it." I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna have to find some time to watch this by myself, or we can do a showing, Content is Profit showing." But Ben, tell me, I'm curious. What was the point that you were making about Squid Games?
Okay. So the point I was making about Squid Game was that, like, in every single game, like, they're given a set of rules, and it's like the goal of the game is simple, like, get across the other side of the bridge, or the goal of the game is to, like, get to, like, this point and don't do X, Y, and Z. And regularly the contestants, like, will think, like, oh, there's one solution to this. But a lot of times, like, and you guys will see this as you watch the show, a lot of the times there isn't one solution to the games. There is actually, like, people will creatively find different solutions in order to get to their goals. Mm-hmm. And you'll find this, like, as more and more, if you guys watch the show, and, like, I've even seen, like, a whole bunch of YouTube theories and, like, Reddit forums, like, hey, you could have done this and done this. Like, there's different solutions as long as you stay within that rule set. But people are assuming that, like, oh, hey, everyone else is doing this, that must be the solution. That is not true. There's multiple different paths. And so the comparison that I was saying was that if your goal is to put up a YouTube video, don't assume that you have to do what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I love this because like just now, before we jumped on the show, we were having a conversation with somebody that you know, knock on wood, we're working together in the next few months. And one of the question is like, what do you guys think I should be doing? Like, who should I model? Like, do you think that works? And he was mentioning some influencers, right? Like known in the space. And we were like, look, well, it does work for them, right? Like if we continue to see it, it does work for them, but we don't really know what's going to work for you or your audience, right? We have to start testing that out there, right? And we have, you know, the extrovert theory is like, okay, well, we put these pieces of content out there. Those are opportunities. Each piece of content that we put out there is an opportunity, but at the same time, is this resonating? We have to grab that feedback and see if it does, right? What works for you as well, like production wise, like are you able to do this? So a great example is the game show that you do on Wednesday nights, right? And we'd love to dive into that, but that's a format that works incredibly for you on how you develop relationships. That's something that we cannot pull off at all, right? Because like first we're like, where do you even find these games, right? So every creator is going to have their own style that works for them production-wise, and then you can start layering all those elements to continue to leverage.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the conversation of tactics and strategies against principles and foundations, right? And I mean, there's so many marketers out there that they have their own tactics. Like, do they work? Yes. Are they going to work for everybody? Probably not, right? But when they market it, people feel like, oh, that is the one thing that I need. That is the one specific solution for the problem that I'm having, right? And I mean, that speaks volumes of the marketer that they're doing a pretty good job of marketing that thing, right? But most importantly is, can we try to understand the principles and foundations behind that tactic or that strategy that makes it work? Because if that tactic doesn't end up working for us, guess what? We can always go back to the principles and create our own that is going to work out for us in our situation. So let's now talk about principles and foundations when it comes to video content, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure you know on YouTube, right? What are those principles and foundations?
And I want to talk about like first what you said, like what you were saying before about like the marketers and whatnot, because I've fallen into this trap before about like leaning too much towards the logic brain side of things. Like, oh man, if I only had this one secret sauce, then my life would be complete. I think that that's too much of a logic brain side things because we're not androids. Or it's not like, oh, if I only had this one missing piece of computer code, then like my business would be complete. That's like, although I fully understand that path of thinking, that's not how things work. And that so I wanted to express that because I've made that mistake way too many times. And then I want to ask again, like, what was your question about YouTube?
Yeah, like if we can dive into some of the principles and foundations of creating content in there, right? For people, so they can understand and maybe base what they're doing from this point of view instead of asking themselves, oh, what is that one tactic that I need to chase, right? Instead, let's help them understand what are those principles that actually help you create engaging YouTube content, content that will make people take action and lead them towards their funnels, right? What are those? Yeah,
so I would say that like probably the biggest one is SEO. And so like there's ways to actually research, like again, if you're in the ClickFunnels community, we call this like blue ocean opportunities, but I just see it as like blue ocean opportunities within the video space. So like there's actually ways to research like, oh, hey, I see that people are searching for, a lot of people are searching for this type of question. Because people search for questions on YouTube. People search for solutions to problems on YouTube. Yeah. So like a lot of people are searching for this type of question, and not a lot of answers are coming up. Like not a lot of content has been created around this question. So there's actually like a lot of opportunities where that Venn diagram meets in the middle there. I also like, pardon me. I also like absolutely believe that like if you're looking for like a great like content opportunity, then like look for like what's already popular out there. So like a great example would be like I wrote a script for a client, and we did it all around this like origin story of Chris Hemsworth's but like a brain farts. His stunt double, that he has in movies. And there's actually a really cool story about how like his stunt double, he has to follow him everywhere he goes. And his stunt double has basically, he has to do that because Chris is such a huge dude. He has to eat what he eats. He has to work out at the same time that he works out, because Chris has become such a muscular dude that now his stunt double can only do stunt doubles for superheroes. So he has carved out the niche of like, I am a stunt double only for superheroes. And what's the great time to make that video? Loki was popular not too long ago.
Yeah.
So like then you piggyback off of like, oh hey, Loki's popular right now, let's do a video on that.
Yep.
And you might say like, well, I just can't always be popular. Like I can't always be like, okay, what's the trending thing this week? Well, you knew a couple months beforehand when Disney was advertising that stuff, so you had a pretty good idea that like, hey, in 3 months this new thing is gonna be popping out, so we can plan a video around that.
Yeah,
makes a lot of
sense. I love that. Yeah, it reminds me of there's this YouTuber, he's Scottish, I think his name is Paddy Galloway. I don't know if you remember him. No. You actually showed him to me. He's the one that does like the analysis of other YouTubers and whatnot.
So good.
Really good content. And I remember him one day talking about the concept. He was I don't remember the exact YouTuber he was analyzing, but he said that YouTuber did a very good job at creating both topical and evergreen content. Now, for those that are listening, what is evergreen content, right? Evergreen content is that content that regardless of time, people will look for it and find it, right? And what is that topical content is what Ben is talking about right now, is leveraging what's happening right now, what is making noise in today's world, that you can use it to maybe gain some extra exposure, right? Like a spike if you're seeing the chart of your numbers, right? And for example, I think a really good topical piece of content at this point would be Squid Game, right? I mean, it's everywhere. Yeah. You just talk about it, right? You were watching it. You made a really awesome reflection about it and connection to your business and what you do. Boom. Create a piece of content that talks about that, right? I think that is a great example, and one that people don't actually think about it too much. I think they mainly think about creating evergreen content, and evergreen content is good, I think, in a compound basis, where you can create lots of content and it's sitting there, right? And people eventually start to discover it. But the topical content, I think, is great to leverage the now and get those spikes of people's attention, right? Because if you're hearing about Squid Games everywhere, and then all of a sudden I publish a video talking about that, guess what? What is the probability of you clicking that video to watch it? It's probably higher because you have been listening about it and you have questions in your head. And now you're like, okay, dude, like everybody's talking about this. Let me, and you just get a piece of that pie, right?
Right.
I think.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to add, right, like with my operator mind, what happens, a lot of people leave this to the last minute. And by this, I mean content, right? They're like, oh, crap, I got to create content, right? And then they miss those opportunities, right? So, and you mentioned it earlier, right? You know that this was going to happen, right? You know there's clues out there that things that are going to be advertised, right? For example, I mean, we obviously love superheroes in this house. Eternals is coming out, right? Like they did like a 2-hour live stream of their, red carpet and different things. There's going to be a lot going on. Spider-Man is coming out in a few weeks, right? What are some things that we can do that? Like, and for example, in our case, how do we relate content is profit to something that's happening there, campaigning. How do we create consistent content? How do we make noise? And then we can relate that topic into our own market and niche and relate to the audience as well. So we got to look ahead. Okay, what are the things that are happening that resonate with me as a person? So it's easy for me to create. So because, you know, we really enjoy all the movies and superheroes, so it's going to be easy for me to create, but at the same time relating it to my audience and my business. So what you mentioned there was super important, that we know what's going to happen. We know what's being advertised. If it's being advertised and we're seeing those ads come out, like, you know, Hawkeye is coming again, Disney Plus, like these things, right? And again, we're in the Disney theme, but at the same time, it's like what's happening in the things that you like, right? And then go there, because probably the people that like the same topics are going to levitate to you. And then the people that levitate towards you that are interested in your business are probably going to be more likely to make a purchase out of that. So it's like 3 filters in one. So thank you, Ben, for bringing that point out, because we got to be on the lookout for those things, indicators.
And it's good to, I think it's good to stick within those, like, so we're all talking about superheroes now because we're all nerds on this show. But I also think it's good to stay within the realm of things that you like, whether it's making content directly about those things or making like metaphor content about those things. Because number one, it's going to be a lot more fun if you're actually making content about things that you like and you won't procrastinate on them. And like, I have never done this in any way whatsoever. What are you talking about? And number two, like you just pointed out, like you want your audience to resonate with you in some way, shape, or form. There's another YouTuber that I watch, like he does like storytime animated videos. And he's like he's like the most Irish dude I've ever listened to. And it's like very male driven stories. And but the one thing that stood out to me that he said one time was like, I like to think that I relate to a lot of you guys at the most, given that I tell a lot of stories about drinking and a lot of things that I don't like. And it's like, and it's true. And yet he did that like almost without trying, because like he created an audience that resonated with him.
Yeah. You know, something that I heard recently, I'm trying to see I'm trying to remember who I heard it from, but you know, I'll give credit whenever I remember. But it was that us as humans, we love to like self kind of like identify as something, right? Like we just love to put ourselves into groups. We love to put ourselves into tribes. And I think that's the effect that happens when you stick with one thing, right? For example, our thing is content is profit, right? We stuck to this topic for over 200 episodes. But like you're saying, right? This Irish dude, I don't know exactly what he talks about, but he's probably been very consistent with the line of topics that he talks about, right? Or at least the way he delivers that. And that makes the people that relate to him, right? Similar to him, raise your hands and say, oh, I want to listen more. I want to listen more about what you got to say. I want to be part of your community. I want to be part of your tribe. And that's very important, right? But to do that, we need to be consistent, right? Because we can just talk about one topic. But if I talk about one topic every 3 months, right, then who's actually going to find out about me? We got to be consistent. So we're almost here at the end, Ben, but I'm curious, do you have any tips about consistency for those that are listening, for the person that is saying to themselves, I want to create more content? How can they do it in a consistent way?
Just simply creating consistent YouTube content.
Yeah, I mean, either YouTube content or just putting themselves in front of the camera and sharing their message. Yeah,
I would say that, you know, when you have to have, it's much like you might as well be asking like, hey, do you have it's the same question like, hey, do you have any advice for staying consistent with a business? You have to have a reason to show up. You have to have a why.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in a room with Mr. Beast, he said like the only way to fail on YouTube is to stop making videos. And so you have to have a why in order to show up to keep making videos for yourself. whether it be that you're driven, like for a lot of people, it's that they're driven to connect with their audience. Yeah. And that's all that drives them. For others, it is driven like they want to see that subscriber number go up and nothing else. But for you personally, you have to identify like what is that why, and is that enough to push you there? I heard a good piece of advice the other day. It was that like most people, when they're like getting interviews, when they're trying to get to that next like job position, most people when it comes to interviews just don't show up. And it's true. Whenever you're like we've hired people before, a large percentage of people just don't show up. And so if you show up, you've already beaten out most of your competition.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. It actually reminds me of the conversation we had with Donald Kelly. I think episode 213, I think it is. Go check it out right now.
It's good memory right there.
He shared with us that only about 1% of active users on LinkedIn are publishing, right? Are actively just putting content out there. 1% of the active users. LinkedIn has like 700 million users, and let's say half of that is like the active base. So 350 million people, 99% of that are not actually publishing, but they are consuming, right? So the 1% that is putting their message out there is getting all the pie, right? Is getting all the attention, right? So I think that is extremely important. You just gotta show up, and like you said, I personally never seen it this way on like, oh, you need to have a why, not just for the business, but like now what is your why to publish, right? Because guess what? We're going to have some bad days that we're going to be feeling under the weather and don't want to grab the phone and make a post. I've been a victim of that many, many times, right? Honestly, I've been a victim of that like this past weeks where I'm like, I don't really feel like, publishing right now. But guess what? If we remind ourselves of why are we doing this, right? Again, each person is going to have their own why that's going to push us to actually be consistent and show up, which at the end of the day is what's going to help you grow.
Ben, this is going to go down in history as the episode that Ben hijacked. No, I love this. By the way, yes, we're going to do the full episode again. And then this will be like the extra bonus, like towards the end, like content conversation with Ben. So thank you, dude, for coming on and crushing. Yeah. Thank you for playing. I know, like, Apple. Come on, where's the camera? Right there. Step it up, guys. Come on, send me a new computer. This is the worst part. It's like it's a new computer, but anyways.
So Ben, before we leave, I don't know. Do you have anything you want to add? Do you want anything you want to share with the person listening right now?
What I want to share with the person listening is, please be sure to come back for episode part 2.
That's right.
Where we don't have technical issues.
That is right.
Let's go.
And if you're listening and you are like, oh man, I don't want them to have technical issues. I want them to get the new MacBook Pro. You know what to do. Slide in the DMs at BIZBROS Co. Join the community. Content is profit. Or if you just want to donate it, we'll send you the address. But I think that's the end of it for today.
Oh, beautiful. All right, guys. With that said, thank you so much for tuning into the Content is Profit podcast. Go ahead and follow the show in your favorite platform and on social media at BIZBROS Co.
That is right. And if Ben today did a great job hijacking the Content is Profit show, please make sure to share this episode and leave a 5-star review. See ya.
Bye, guys.